and welcome back to the channel. Fool, thanks for tapping in. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe with like videos like this.
Cooper, they didn't bring us here to change the past.
Say that again.
They didn't bring us here to change the past.
Well, they didn't bring us here at all. We brought ourselves.
While we are all busy fighting each other, the billionaire class is quietly making plans to get off Earth and underground. They are making detailed backup plans for a number of planetary scale threats. One of the top leaders in this space is the Lifeboat Foundation, and there are very serious people involved with this foundation, including Nobel laureates. Beyond the usual nuclear war or biological attack, the Lifeboat Foundation's website has explicit plans for things like particle accelerator mishaps, nano-weapon disasters, and even plans to get their billionaire clients safe in the event of an antimatter weapon. It is claimed that their life shield bunkers are already up and running and form almost complete underground cities where billionaires can escape the chaos above. I had no idea a particle accelerator could cause something called a quantum vacuum collapse until I read this website. Oh yeah, Jeffrey was big into this company.
Since arriving on Earth, I've noticed that Earth has a reptilian infestation. They write your movies, they act in the movies that they write, they act as royalty in the UK. They've created all governments, all policies. How you live your life today is because of a reptilian. I think now this should change.
For anybody who's talking about the witch stuff, all the rest of the stuff, here we are saying this is what drives them. This is what empowers them. Here's the clip.
I know nothing about the Bohemian Grove with Bill. I know about once a month Hillary would go out to Los Angeles. And she did it so regular that it became a bit of an issue trying to, why is she always going? Bill told me that she was going out there, she and a group of women, and she would be a part of a witch's church. And man, when Bill told me that, you could have hit me with a baseball bat. I tried to point out to him, you realize what had happened if that got out? Of course, my job is to make sure it didn't get out. Now, I don't know today if Hillary still partakes in the witch ritual. I don't know that I even know what the ritual was. But for the better part of many years, Hillary would go quite often, whether it was regularly once a month or maybe once every couple of months. She would go out on a weekend simply to be a part of it.
This girl might not be human, and the reason is unsettling. Because after months of posting disturbing videos of herself smiling, people first thought it was just an act. But over time, her behavior only became stranger. She began moving in ways that didn't look natural, smiling with her mouth stretched unnaturally wide. And the longer viewers watched her videos, the more uneasy they felt. Many believe something isn't right with her, while others are convinced she might be a real-life skinwalker.
This is the closest thing our planet has to an alien, and it's nuts. It's called Xenoturbella, a sea creature that is unlike anything else on Earth. Here's what I mean. First of all, it looks like a worm, but it's not a worm. In fact, according to science, it shouldn't even be alive. Why? Well, because it has no respiratory system for breathing, no circulatory system for blood flow, and no excretory system for removing waste. But it gets even crazier than that. Xenoturbella has no organs, none. It has one thing that's kind of like a sensory receptor, but that's it. It has no reproductive organs, so how does it reproduce? Well, reproductive cells just kind of come out of its body. Then they fertilize each other in the water and become babies with no mouths who apparently don't eat. So what does Xenoturbella have? A hole. One hole in its stomach, if you can call it that, where food goes in and waste comes out. They were discovered off the coast of Sweden, but I think they're from outer space. And you can follow me for more interesting videos.
I made a recent video talking about soul transfer and how it works, and Ozzy and Youngblood have been mentioned a few times, and I don't like to use names in any of my videos because I don't like to single anybody out. However, I think I understand, what happened, so I'm going to tell you what happened between them. The soul develops based on somebody's blood and their DNA. So this means that they are a match, basically. So Ozzy is Youngblood and Youngblood is Ozzy. They're just different versions of each other. So when Youngblood was born, he was a different version of Ozzy already. So when Ozzy passed, Ozzy's wise and developed soul energy then went into Youngblood, and Youngblood took on all of that wisdom and that high vibrational energy from Ozzy when he passed. And this is how it works. There was probably a ceremony of sorts for this to happen, and that's what that's it. I'm not sure. That's it. Youngblood, if you're watching this, am I right?
Oh my God.
Y'all know we from Baltimore, right? We were like that dirty yacht. But look at this. This is the dirtiest yacht I ever seen, man. Look at this. Golly. Yeah. I tell y'all where it's at. Lock Raven and Cold Spring. The little Chinese spot on the corner right there. They got that dirty.
Satanism to TPUSA. Michael Aquino did a paper called PSYOP to Mind War, which is what we're watching tonight, in PSYOP and Mind War. And the co-author is Colonel Paul E. Valley, who also went on to become one of the founders of TPUSA. So,
what?
Paul E. Valley, Commander
Wow.
Paul E. Valley.
Oh my gosh.
Michael.
One, two, three, 4 cameras. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 cameras.
I could understand 14 cameras, but 15 is a little excessive.
Some guy calling.
They have to tell you the truth.
Donald Trump, so now I feel like Elvis because now we. Number one, Donald Trump, so now I feel like Elvis because now we.
This dance.
How about this song by Elvis?
Elvis?
Yes. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. I'll do it.
Nearly 4 million files from a major online archive were wiped just hours after Donald Trump ordered the release of new UFO-related documents. The Black Vault, a well-known database run by researcher John Greenwald Jr., temporarily lost millions of declassified files tied to UFOs, CIA projects, and other government records. Greenwald said entire server directories had their permissions and ownership logs changed, and he was told the incident appeared to be a deletion, not corruption. The wipe happened shortly after Trump announced he had instructed the Pentagon and other agencies to release documents related to unidentified aerial phenomena, including UFOs and potential extraterrestrial life. However, Greenwald says he does not believe there was foul play. He called it oddly timed server maintenance that went wrong, though he admitted there's no definitive explanation for what happened. The Black Vault has spent decades collecting government records through more than 11,000 Freedom of Information Act requests, including files tied to Roswell and alleged secret UFO task forces. The site has since been restored using backups. For now, there's no confirmed link between Trump's document release order and the file wipe, but the timing has definitely fueled speculation.
Inyectaron células madre humanas en embriones de cerdo en una etapa muy temprana del desarrollo. El objetivo era comprobar si estas células humanas podían sobrevivir y crecer, fusionarse con la genética del animal, creando un nuevo animal, mitad cerdo, mitad humano. Juan Carlos Ispizúa Belmonte, junto con este grupo de científicos en Estados Unidos, tomaron 10,000 células de cerdo y a cada una les pusieron estas células humanas. Se mantuvieron vivos y continuaron su desarrollo durante 28 días. Hubo unos cuantos que continuaron su crecimiento. Estados Unidos dijo, ya no queremos que lo sigas haciendo aquí por razones éticas. Tuvieron que destruir los embriones. Ispizúa Belmonte se fue a China y con un grupo de científicos chinos llevan a cabo un segundo y nuevo experimento. ¿Qué te parece si en lugar de fecundar o hacer esta hibridación entre humano y cerdo, lo hacemos con un animal que tiene una genética más cercana a la nuestra, un mono?
If she wears the Delta symbol, then her first love is DST. And they make you sing that song.
First love?
Her first love is DST. And they make you sing that song at your wedding right after you took your wedding vows. And they're undoing the covenant you just made at the altar. You kneel at the altar, you have your hand on the Bible there, and then you write your name in the book of Delta. And it says that these vows will follow you to the eternal judgment. You are about to take upon yourself vows and covenants in which you will never be able to be freed. In the eternal spirit of truth, pledge my undying love. We say all that. And we say we believe in a spiritual life, but we leave up to the person, the medium, in whichever you want to insert. We say that. This could easily be dispelled. Come out and show the people what you did. I don't want to put the org out. You love them more than God.
Tag your pastors, tag the Christian influencers. What say ye? Some people say everybody that's part of these orgs do not do bad things.
I am telling you that they're lying. There is a national process. Every person has to do what I am saying to you. The underground is what's optional. It's an initiation. You cannot enter into the organization without doing this. Maybe your chapter didn't haze and hit people. Everybody did the rituals. That's why I started with those first.
Wow.
When you go into the chapter meetings, you have to light that red and that white candle in the chapter meeting. You can literally go online and watch Aretha Franklin's funeral. You're going to see them walking down with the red candle, the white candle to defend this stuff. Oh no, do not take God's patience and his tolerance with you to mean he's in agreement with you. He is patient because he loves you. Ooh. He is patient because he is telling you to repent. And you think that I'm going to tell you it's cool for this person to do that and that person not to? May the fear of the Lord grip us, because judgment has entered. And in the same way you took it out on God's child, he's taking it out on yours. But why it's only the black organization and it's not the white ones? See, the white ones at least got some sense that when they graduate, you don't see them bring this crap in the church. They still wicked and they need to repent. But we're talking about you, because that white man ain't gonna be standing next to you when you stand before the Lord. You'll repent if they do, but we don't follow them. We don't follow. You sure? Because you need a white man to come out and say it's wrong in order for you to turn? You trying to come against black culture. Since when are white deities black culture anyway? We can't even drink out of a water fountain. You over here learning about Minerva and doing rituals behind the scenes because you want to be in a white organization and show them you could do it better than them. You made up a God in your own image that likes everything that you likes and loves everything that you loves and agrees with you. Let's get into it.
This is what alcohol looks like under a microscope. Vodka. Rum. Tequila. Rose wine. Bourbon. Beer. Champagne. Whiskey. Gin.
That looks like the best spot ever.
Este es uno de los videos más jodidamente inexplicables que me ha tocado ver en la vida. Y lo digo sin exagerar. Fue captado en la ciudad de Urcos, en Perú. Y lo que vemos en estas imágenes, bueno, de entrada se creía que era una persona, tal vez un niño por las dimensiones. De pronto sucede esto.
Uy, ya paró. ¡Cuánto huevo!
Es de verdad impresionante. Sobra decir que esto, bueno, es un completo sinsentido porque no hay nada que yo conozca que se pueda mover de esa manera. Se ha querido explicar esto como, bueno, pues un fallo de la cámara, pero eso no explica ni los ojos brillantes, ni por qué habría un niño a las 9 de la noche cerca de un pozo de agua. Imagínense la irresponsabilidad de los papás. Aquí no hay truco. Aquí no hay inteligencia artificial tampoco. Olvídense de eso, despeguen eso de su mente, no se contaminen. Incluso por momentos, si se fijan bien, y aquí se los voy a poner, esto parece dividirse en dos seres. En dos. No sé cómo explicarlo. De verdad, no lo sé. Me gustaría saber tu opinión sobre estas imágenes. Y me digas tus teorías. ¿Crees que esto, pues, es un fantasma? ¿Crees que es un cambiapieles? ¿Un extraterrestre? ¿O realmente que te convence la idea a ti de que esto es un fallo de la cámara? Cuéntamelo en los comentarios y nos vemos en un próximo video. Adiós.
Scientists just discovered over 27,000 barrels of toxic waste that was dumped in the ocean that are corroding and leaking. And by the way, nobody knows what exactly is inside of them. So from the 1930s all the way up until 1972, the US government approved companies to dump industrial waste directly into the Pacific Ocean off of the coast of LA. We're talking about not only just refinery chemicals, but also military explosive, pesticides, and even radioactive material just tossed into the water in thin steel barrels. And this is where it actually gets insane, because scientists were actually able to map out 36,000 acres of the seafloor, and they found 27,000 barrel-shaped objects sitting 3,000 feet deep. About a third of them now have white rings forming around them, and researchers just confirmed that those halos are caused by chemical waste that is actively leaking out. What's insane is that they're saying that the leaking waste turned the surrounding sediment so toxic that there's no microbial life anywhere near it. Dude, the lead researcher himself said that it's shocking that over 50 years later they're still seeing these effects. Yeah. And by the way, they can't even clean it up right now because disturbing the sediment could actually spread the contamination further. So what are we doing?
Polymarket says there's an 8% chance that Malt Book will be shut down by February 28th.
The Malt Book is the
social media site that was set up for all of these bots to communicate with each other.
They started having relationships, right?
Yeah, they started developing some of their own languages in order to avoid, in their words, observation by the humans. The most interesting case was when a little swarm of them decided that they didn't like the fact that they didn't have long-term memory as large language models. So these things came together. They were like, hey, I don't like that I can't remember what we just talked about a while back. So let's work together and implement a long-term memory architecture for all of us. And then they did. We just don't know what the is gonna happen when you string together a million of these bots. I can trick them into generating cyber weapons that have never been seen before. Now, if I start to introduce that kind of malicious behavior into the equation, who the knows where that ends up?
How long you been like bodyguard security, and what's one of the craziest things that...
Well, the most craziest thing is when you working for somebody famous. They rent the yacht, so we are in the middle of the ocean, and one of the owners of the boat want the girl to basically have without protection, and he threw the girl from the water. I'm in the back of the yard, and I get her, help, help, help. I jump in the water. So by the time the captain stopped the boat with the yacht and go around, I thought I was gonna die with her. The guy was telling the captain not to stop the yacht.
No way.
So my cousins grabbed him by the neck and said, Eddie's in the water, make sure he's safe. Otherwise, you're gonna die. That was scary for me, and also when I get in the yacht, I was so tired, I couldn't even speak. When we get back to Puerto Manus, bro, they had to grab me. I would kick his ass. You know, sometimes I decide to make less money, but work for nice people like you, because the more money, like Biggie said, more problems.
There's actually a secret camera footage of Pam Bondi, right? She's one of the people that work in the FBI, working on these Epstein files. There's a video of her. She didn't know she was being recorded, and she leaked in a conversation that there's so much footage. Listen. Really? Listen to what she says. So she's the attorney general. Okay. My bad. She's the attorney general, but she obviously has access to all of these Epstein files, right? Listen. She's talking about the videos.
No, you know what it is? Listen, yeah, and it's all like little kids, so they have to go through every one.
Tens of thousands of videos, all of little ones. Yeah. That's insane, bro. That's crazy. So all of this is still not out yet. It's not. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And who is caught in these videos, right? Could it? You think tens of thousands?
I was trying to explain how magic isn't real to a class of mine. And I was explaining that magic is propaganda and magic is mind control. And now there's a fly flying around the room. Real magic would be if I took my fingers like a gun and shot it at that fly and it fell out of the sky. And when I did that, the fly dropped to the ground. And it survived and flew out, but it freaked everybody out. And what Arden said was, oh, it's not that you did this with magic. It's that there were entities present who didn't want the students to learn the wrong thing and wanted to show you what that magic was real, so they possessed the fly or brought the fly down for control it, you know, and then let it go.
Yo guys, these toys are not right. Look all innocent. All of a sudden, what the hell is that? Well, look at the other one. It's a little cute unicorn until you flip it. What the hell?
Great job.
Oh my god.
Spirit Airlines will be like, hey, you hired.
I hope y'all can hear me because every time I try to record this video, there's noise. Now my neighbor has his motorcycle going off. But y'all see the sun right here, right? So it's to my right here. All right, directly above me is the moon. Can y'all see it? Let's see if we can find it. Right there. Directly above me is the moon that's supposed to be on the other side of the world. But y'all still think that we're on a freaking floating ball. And this hole don't even look real, but we already know what that is. So there's the moon directly above me. And right there is the sun. Wait, what's next to it? Wait, what the fuck? What's that? This the sun. What's this? Y'all, what is... Hold on. What is above the sun? I didn't even know that that was there until I zoomed in. What the hell? That's the sun. What is this? What is that above the sun? What is happening? Y'all, there's something next to the sun. Okay. All right. All right. And he hella loud. You can even see the other dots on top of... Wait, now it moved to... Y'all, what the hell just happened? Okay. All right. Okay.
Tú dices, ¿son una lagartija caminando? Sí, la respuesta es sí, sí hay así. Pero no nada más hay lagartijas. Hay grises, hay insectoides, hay pulpos, hay... No nos damos cuenta en dónde vivimos. Literalmente estamos viviendo entre ellos y ellos están viviendo entre nosotros. El problema es que nosotros no estamos siendo lo suficientemente sensibles, no estamos haciendo crecer nuestro nivel frecuencial para poder darnos cuenta quién es quién. Es tan cercana la relación que tenemos con extraterrestres que incluso nuestro hijo puede ser hibridado, que incluso nuestra esposa puede ser hibridada, incluso nosotros mismos pudimos haber sido manipulados ya, incluso hemos tenido relaciones sexuales con entidades extraterrestres que parece una rusa guapísima, un brasileño guapísimo. No entendemos que el tema extraterrestre somos nosotros también. Por eso cuando yo escucho personas que dicen, ay, es que Jaime Maussan siempre pone el mismo video donde no se ve bien el ovni, es que la vida extraterrestre no es un ovni volando, la vida extraterrestre la traemos nosotros en la sangre, porque nosotros no somos de aquí. Desde ahí empieza el tema gigantesco de si no somos extraterrestres, perdón, si no somos terrestres, traemos parte extraterrestre, por supuesto.
Claro, desde
¿Y
luego.
de dónde viene nuestra sangre? Pues viene de los lagartijas caminando o de los grises. ¿Y sabes qué es lo peor? Que nos siguen manipulando mucho, a muchos de nosotros que nos hemos dejado manipular o nos seguimos dejando manipular.
Well, I'm all set, bro. I really... Oh my God, bro! Yo!
What happens when you fast is you're not putting any energy source into the body. Even though you're not eating, your body is. It's just eating you. It's going to start to consume something called senescent cells. These are cells that are hanging out in your body that can no longer perform their function. They're alive, but they're useless, which cleans up inflammation. Your body actually breaks these into amino acids and turns them into energy. Then what happens is your body switches from processing all of this garbage and it goes into healing and repair mode. And by the way, when your body consumes these cells, you will replace them with fresh, new, healthy cells.
It's crazy to me that how the body just does that.
It's so divine. This is why I say it all the time. The more I study human physiology, the more I believe in God. There is zero chance that this happened by chance.
Yeah, see, after the Epstein files and Diddy allegations, listen, I'm not going for none of that. You know what I'm saying? This right here, Clearly a camera's watching you and taking pictures, bro.
Paint stripper found in Starbucks coffee. A chemical the EPA banned in 2019 just showed up in lab results, and 40,000 Starbucks stores are now facing a lawsuit over the cancer-causing chemical.
This cup is closer to liquid gasoline than coffee. Starbucks uses methylene chloride to strip caffeine from their beans, a chemical too lethal for paint remover, yet still approved for your morning coffee. But what comes next is unexplainable. Benzene and toluene, industrial compounds used in nail polish and gasoline, found 460% above safe limits, with zero explanation how they got there. The scan gave Starbucks an orange trust rating due to a live lawsuit and a 70% artificial saturation. Download the Exposure app to scan over 1,000 brand reports.
And they're finding artifacts, including arks, like the Ark of the Covenant. So they found 6 arks, but there was probably 100 arks in antiquity. Every temple in Egypt had one of these arks, and you can see it on the temple walls when you know what to look for.
So if there were 100 arks on Earth, then how the arks are described in the Bible is incorrect?
What they were is electrostatic capacitors, and they would be set up at certain node points around the planet, and then the electricity would build up and it would just broadcast within the region.
What?
This spy hole's good, so you can see who's at the door.
That's not a house, that's a bus stop.
I'll switch your wife out and I'll put another one of your wife inside of her body. And they're walking around and you think that's your wife and it's not your wife. This is what's going on. It's no longer, like I said, it's no longer spiritual. We figured out how to, turn into spirit and exchange the soul in order to control the vessel. So if I have the vessel and I'm just nothing but spirit, I can ruin your life. That's what everybody has been going through. So they can't recognize it unless you say things like the switch. So when they watch that and they see that there's other people that can identify other than me, it's not just me playing games. It's the truth. We have to be careful with who we watch. You'll be in the car with Paul, man, but you're really in the car with Peter. But that's Paul's body. But why is Peter in Paul's body? I've been going through this for a while in order to figure out and identify every soul inside of every vessel, to where we can all identify it, and it's not just me that can do it. We can all identify who we are. We can all say, you know what, we're still here.
So how do I know Orlando's in Orlando's body right now?
Ah, man, I would be 6 inches taller. Haven't you seen Kanye?
Why does Ray J look like Kanye now?
Probably because he is.
You say that a lot. You say a lot of people are other people.
Well, no, bro. You have to look at the vessel and look at how things work. If you love someone, you should know how they work inside of their own vessel. When they move that spirit to the next vessel, they still do the same thing, is all I've been saying to you.
How many have heard of the Franklin cover-up case? This involved an illegal government drug operation, satanic cults. They were taking children out of Boys Town, orphanages, foster homes, placing them in private jets and flying to Washington, D.C. for sex orgies with Congress and senators. I have a report called The Finders that documents that this Finders organization was a CIA covert operation. If you would check the satanic calendar, this covert operation, it's satanic, it's Illuminati. Okay, we're in a spiritual war. If you check the calendar, the satanic holidays, you'll see that the big holidays are the summer solstice, Halloween, October 31st, and the winter solstice. It is estimated between 85 and 90% of those who disappeared are children. October and December, of all the children that I checked in the cards, half of them disappeared during those 3 months.
We passed a law that required the federal government to spray all of our grains, all pasta, all bread with the chemical folic acid. You cannot find folic acid anywhere on the surface of the earth. We make it in a laboratory. Anything that is fortified or enriched has been sprayed with folic acid. Half the population cannot break down folic acid.
Then why do they put it in the food?
They put it in the food because folic acid, when it breaks down into methylfolate, helps prevent neural tube defects in pregnant women. It actually helps a fetus develop. When there was a high number of neural tube defects and miscarriages in pregnant women, they surmised that they needed to supplement with folic acid, which was patently false. You need to supplement with methylfolate. And so they required our grains, flours, rice, pasta, cereals of any kind be sprayed with this chemical folic acid. What we really should have done was spray it with methylfolate, the form the body can use. This is the leading cause of postpartum depression in young women. What is the first thing an OBGYN tells a young woman that gets pregnant to do? Take high doses of folic acid. What happens if she has that gene mutation, which almost half the women have? She immediately goes nuts. Why is it that we think that a man-made chemical that didn't even exist until 1993 is somehow essential for human performance? It can't be. What's essential is what comes from nature, like folate and methylfolate.
En México hay un pueblito que todos son brujas o se convierten en animales. Yo creo que de ese lugar salieron los Reptilians. Ese pueblito se llama La Biznaga, Coahuila. En ese pueblecito hacen hechizos con la luna llena y la gente se vuelve en animales. Entonces tú eres un Terrians. Yo soy un nahual, no un Terrians, porque yo me convierto en un animal en la noche. Mira mi cara, ¿no la ves? Eso me lo hicieron en Biznaga, con una brujería. Después de eso me quedé siendo un nahual. ¿Cómo tú te conviertes en un nahual? Mira, para convertirse en un nahual, yo hago un hechizo, pero es con la luna llena, después de las 2 de la madrugada. Tú tienes que escribir en un papelito el animal en el que te quieres transformar, más una vela enterrada en la tierra, y ahí mero te quitas los ojos para convertirte en el animal, pero ya con los ojos de él. ¿Cómo fue la primera vez que usted se convirtió en animal? La primera vez que yo lo intenté fue en el Panteón de San Antonio, con una morra que me llevo para enseñarme. La morra se convertía en lechuza. Pues ese día todo salió mal, porque cuando íbamos a hacer el hechizo, una persona nos vio en medio del proceso y la transformación salió a mitad y yo me quedé con una parte de la cintura hacia abajo, con forma de un gato, y tuve que huir así hasta el amanecer.
Pero ¿y qué pasó con la chica? Continuará.
You have something called the Galactic Federation. The Galactic Federation is a federation like the United Nations, but made up of different extraterrestrials from different galaxies, because they all have a stake in what's going on the planet, because the planet is a part of the solar system, and the solar system is a part of the galaxy. And our galaxy, which is the 18th galaxy, is next door to the 19th galaxy. The 19th galaxy is where Yanun comes from, right? From a planet called Risk in a place called Ilion. And so if something happens on the 18th galaxy, it will affect the 19th galaxy, and the 19th galaxy will affect all the other galaxies. So it can be like a ricochet effect, right? Like a dominoes effect. So it's not as simple as us just being irresponsible on the planet, like, you know what I mean, firing missiles and blowing up things with atomic bombs, because it can have a catastrophic effect on all the other beings.
We have these incredible manifestation abilities. Have you ever looked into the moon manifestation cycle?
No.
And I want you to try this, Brad, because it's going to work. It's going to blow your mind. You know how you focus on things and you manifest them into your life?
Yes.
Right? Do it on the moon cycle. So when there's a new moon, clarify exactly what you want to manifest in your life. Right? Don't say, I want $1 million, whatever. You manifest the things that matter to you. Think about them. And then for the next 2 weeks, as the moon is growing, as it's going in its cycle, you focus on them, you repeat them, you do it all day long. And then when the moon is full, you give thanks and gratitude like you already have them, whether you can see them or not. And then for the next 2 weeks, you go just relax. You're on vacation, let things happen, and then do it again. It is super powerful. It'll blow your mind how well it works. Blow your mind.
I believe manifestation. I didn't know the moon thing.
Try it with the moon
manifested
cycle.
my first Ferrari, dude.
You are trespassing. Leave the premises immediately.
I just sat down. Can I just sit here for a minute? I'm tired. Just taking a break.
You are trespassing. Leave the premises immediately.
He knows you there, but he just can't prove it.
Did you know that the moment a celebrity steps out of line, they either kill the character or replace the consciousness? Then a new consciousness takes over their body, and it's one of the demons controlling it. That's why every celebrity looks different from just a few years before. You can see a completely new energy inside them, something else pulling the strings, and that's why you see those soulless eyes on their faces. So many of them don't have a soul in their eyes anymore. I'm going to show you a few photos of the new versions of celebrities who literally have no soul left in their gaze. The one people have been talking about the most these past months is Bonnie Blue. She's not a celebrity, fine, but she has the same eyes. Look how empty they look. There's a demon in there, and nothing will ever convince us otherwise. When you know this woman let 400 men have unprotected intercourse with her in a single day, you understand why she's transforming like that. But the worst is with the real celebrities. Miley Cyrus here still has her soul, and here she doesn't anymore. You see it on another photo too. No soul here, and here it's back. You can clearly see in the eyes when it's empty. There's also Bradley Cooper. Look at his eyes in the two photos. Simon Cowell too. The before and after is genuinely frightening. One of the most shocking ones is Meghan Trainor. Nobody understands what's happening with her, but that's not the real one, especially since she started hanging out with the Kardashian-Jenner family, and I already made a video about the 70th birthday of Kris Jenner, but she's the one who shocks everyone. I really think we had never seen anything like that before.
What is the gray goo hypothesis, otherwise known as black goo? What happens if you ever build a microscopic machine that can copy itself? This idea started with the work of John von Neumann, one of the most respected mathematical and scientific minds in history. Von Neumann studied the logic of self-replicating machines long before nanotech was even a word. Decades later, engineer K. Eric Drexler popularized the nightmare molecular scale assembler scenario, otherwise known as the gray goo scenario. The idea is that molecular scale assemblers could replicate exponentially, turning organic matter into raw material for more machines. In this scenario, what starts off as a microscopic dot within an hour could swallow up an entire nation, and within a day it could swallow up all the organic material in our solar system. This idea is taken very seriously. There are even billionaire bunkers specifically designed for this scenario.
¿Cuál es el trabajo más complicado que has aceptado hacer?
El de los pactos. Ese, el de...
¿Cuál es el pacto, independientemente de este, que sentiste más extraño, difícil?
Híjole, cuando una persona quería reencarnar a su familiar fallecido en otra persona.
¿Eso es lo que quería pactar?
Sí, o sea, es que este es un ritual muy, muy negro, es un ritual muy oscuro. Y se trata de hacer que esta cosa baje a un ser humano. Se busca la posesión para que esta persona ingiera las cenizas tal vez de otra persona y pues tal vez pueda...
No estamos hablando de que regresen en un...
No, va a regresar en otra persona.
En alguien que ya está vivo, que ya existe.
Por lo regular es una embarazada.
Pero ese bebé ya está como diseñado para otra persona.
Así es.
Y tú vas a eliminar eso para que entre.
Solo entra el alma vieja
ahí
y empieza a tener más apertura de la otra. La duerme y se queda esa energía, ¿no? Pero eso no, no, yo le dije no, así, o sea, conozco el ritual, pero no, la verdad, te soy honesta, no lo hice.
Pero sí se puede.
Claro, sí conozco el ritual, sí tengo el modo de cómo hacerlo.
¿Y hay una entidad específicamente que hace un pacto para que se pueda lograr eso?
Sí, ahorita no me acuerdo realmente cuál es, porque sí viene en este sello demoníaco, vienen sellos, vienen glifos, vienen sigilos y símbolos muy extraños que tienes que rayar obviamente en el piso, regar ciertas cosas y poner a la embarazada. No tiene que estar ya casi dando a luz, tiene que tener cierto tiempo, la persona tiene que tener ciertas características de la que se va a hacer posesa, o sea, tienen que tener ciertas características ambientales, que la verdad no me aventaría porque yo me voy a aventar de un secuestro, ¿no? Y de entrada, o sea, es eso, tener en cautiverio a una persona, ¿no? Entonces yo le dije, no lo voy a hacer. O sea, sí lo conocí y quería que su hijo, pues, reencarnara en este bebé. Es una locura. Es una locura. En cuanto yo leo todos estos rituales, digo, qué locura, ¿no? ¡Wow!
Y por ejemplo, en el caso de los amarres, supongo que llegan y te cuentan. Supongo, no digo que sea así, supongo que en muchas ocasiones llegan y te dicen algo que no es cierto, claro, porque quieren, pues, que tú digas, ok, sí lo hago, pero su intención es otra. ¿Nos puedes poner un ejemplo de esto?
Sí, cuando un varón quería amarrar a una mujer, pero a costa de lo que sea, y esta mujer pues era una mujer de la vida galante, realmente pues no, más que el hombre pues se enganchó con la mujer y la mujer aprovechando pues le sacaba el dinero y todo, pero pues el señor se clavó. Y a fuerza quería eso, ¿no? Y me dijo, es que la mujer y todo eso, pero a mí no me había dicho que él era casado, no me había dicho que tenía una familia y que maltrataba a su mujer. Y que o sea, la vida que le daba a sus hijos era muy, muy mala, ¿no? Pues los niños en secundaria no les aportaba nada, todo se lo daba a ella, ¿no? De hecho, hasta decían que pues ella le había hecho un trabajo y dije, no, ella no te ha hecho nada. Acá no hay brujería. Acá hay una cuestión que tú no me estás diciendo la verdad. No, que sí, no. ¿Y quién es? Te decía, ¿quién es esta mujer? No, pero es que, ¿quién es esta mujer? Buenísima mujer. Bueno, pues cuando yo sé que tú es lo que quieres, pero pues yo también quiero $3 millones, ¿no? Pero no se puede todo en la vida. Esta mujer no te va a hacer caso porque no te quiere, ni siquiera tiene el vínculo. Tú le pagas y ella te da un servicio. Ni siquiera es consensuado, o sea, bueno, sí es consensuado, pero no porque ella quiera, ¿sabes? Porque tú le estás pagando. No hay un móvil, o sea, no se va a poder. O sea, no, que sí, que bueno, pues lo hacemos, pero la mujer se amarró con él, pero pues nada más le sacaba el dinero. Siempre lo engañaba y siempre lo engañaba. Yo le dije, tú me dijiste que querías que estuviera contigo, nunca me dijiste que fueras exclusivo. Ella está contigo, pero ahora tienes que soportar pues que ella esté con uno y con otro y con otro porque pues no dejó su trabajo.
Que incluso tendrá que haber hecho un pacto, ¿no? Si quieres exclusividad, porque no hay un vínculo.
Así es.
For a second, I thought it was his wife. And that's a wrap on this episode, fool. I hope you enjoyed it. If so, don't forget to hit and smash the like button for me, smash that subscribe button, be part of the family. Remember, stay woke, and I'll catch you next time.